we are moving to discuss with some more other extension of Mendelism. Extension of Mendelism, but having inheritance of two genes. Okay, inheritance of two genes. It include first one epistasis. Then second one complementary gene. First one epistasis gene, then second one complementary, then duplicate gene, and finally supplementary gene. Okay, so how these crosses may have changes the phenotypic ratio in the Mendelian, how these F2 phenotypic ratio of these crosses are changing from the Mendelian crosses, that we are going to discuss. Okay. So first one we will discuss about epistasis. What are epistasis? So the condition, how we can say a gene is epistasis, because when a gene prevents the expression of another non-allelic gene. What is epistatic? When a gene prevents the expression of another non-allelic gene, then that phenomena is called as epistasis, and the gene which prevents the expression of another non-allelic gene, that are called epistatic gene. That are called epistatic gene. Okay, so one gene that prevents the expression of another non-allelic gene, that are called epistasis, and that gene are called epistatic gene. Okay, and the gene which are suppressed. Okay, this is what? The gene which suppress the expression of a gene, that are called epistatic gene. The gene which is suppressed by epistatic gene, that are called hypostatic gene. Okay, so suppressing genes are called epistatic gene and suppressed gene are called hypostatic gene. Suppressing gene are called epistatic gene. Suppressed gene are called, okay, so epistatic gene means the suppressing gene, hypostatic gene means the suppressed gene. Okay, and then you will understand the phenomena epistasis by seeing different examples. Okay, so actually epistatics are of different type. Dominant epistasis, recessive epistasis, and coepistasis. Okay, so epistasis are of three types: dominant epistasis, recessive epistasis, and coepistasis. Now we are moving to discuss about the what? Dominant epistasis. Okay, we are discussing about the dominant epistasis of an example. Okay, example under dominant epistasis. So example is hair color in dog. Example, hair color in dog. Okay, so in dog the dominant allele for black color of hair is B for black color, hair, and small letter b for what? Brown color hair. And the black color hair is the dominant allele, and the brown is the recessive allele. Okay, and the letter I is the epistatic gene. I is the epistatic gene. So what is the epistatic gene? The gene which prevents the expression of another non-allelic gene. Okay. So if the genotype small letter b, I. Okay. If the genotype small letter b, small I. Capital I is epistatic gene. Okay. So it will be brown color. It will be brown color, and capital B, capital I, it will be white in color. Why? Because normally it want to show the black color, but due to the presence of this epistatic gene, it will show white color. Okay. Now we can just make a cross. We can make cross between the brown hair color bearing dog and white hair color bearing dog. So we obtain gametes. Gametes undergo fusion to form the offspring. So it will be obviously white. Why? Because even a single dominant allele is enough to mask the expression of the other non-allelic gene. Okay, so that is obviously will be white color. Okay, then what happens when it become make selfing? What happens when we make selfing? Okay, so by selfing we will obtain different types of gametes. Okay, we will obtain 4 different types of gametes. We will obtain 4 different types of gametes. 4 different types of gametes. Okay, by using these 4 different types of gametes, we want to make the Punnett square. Okay. Okay, then we want to write the gametes. This will be B capital I, B capital I, B small I, B small I, small b capital I, small b capital I, small b small I, small b small I. Okay, now you want to make the Punnett square fill. Okay, how this will cross, this male gamete cross with this female gamete, we will obtain capital B, capital I, capital I. Then capital B, capital I, small I. Capital B, small b, capital I, capital B, small b, capital I, small I. Just like that you want to fill all the squares. So as a result of this, we will obtain the 16 different types of offspring. From that we can know how many of R comes in black color, how many comes in brown, how many comes in white. Okay, so now try to count. Here, wherever there is a single capital letter I is there, it will be expressed as white. Why? Because a single capital I is enough to make the suppression, and as a result of that suppression of the expression of that gene, white will what? Appear. So this will be white. This will be also white color, white, white. Here also one eye is there, white here also. So it will also white, white. This is also become white, 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 and finally white. Okay, so this much white we obtain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 white we obtained. Then this will be 2 capital B's are there. So it will be the dominant color black, and here also it will be black, and here also it will be black. So we obtained 12 white, 3 black, and finally the epistatic genes are in recessive condition, and the dominant black color is also in the recessive condition. So we obtained brown. So what is the ratio? The ratio, we know the dihybrid ratio is 9:3:3:1. The dihybrid ratio is 9:3:3:1. Okay, but here we obtain the ratio 12:3:1. The F2 phenotypic ratio is 12:3:1. So the 9:3:3:1 ratio is changed to 12:3:1. 12:3:1. We obtain 12 white, 3 black, and 1 brown color. Okay, so this is the epistatic gene. Okay, actually this is the dominant epistatus. This is the dominant epistatus. Why it is called as dominant epistatus? A single dominant gene is enough for the suppression of expression of their expression of non-allelic gene. Okay, so a single dominant gene is enough. Okay, there is no condition that it should be in the what homozygous form. So a single dominant gene is enough to make the what? The epistatic condition. Okay, that is why it is called as dominant epistatus. Okay, then recessive epistatus is also there. Recessive epistatus is also there. Okay, so example, dominant, this is the example for the hair color of dog. Hair color of dog. Okay, dominant epistatus, hair color of dog. And some more examples are there for dominant epistatus. That is fruit color in summer squash. Okay, so first one, hair color of dog. Hair color of dog. Then next one is fruit color of summer squash. Of summer squash. So this is the example for dominant epistatus. Dominant epistatus. Okay, so here the Mendelian F2 phenotypic ratio is changed to 12:3:1. Okay, so if you look the recessive epistatus, the Mendelian ratio, okay, recessive epistatus, example, flower color of antirrhinum. Example, flower color of antirrhinum. Flower color of antirrhinum. Okay, so recessive epistatus means only the gene will mask the expression of the non-allelic gene. Only the gene will suppress the expression of the non-allelic gene only when it should be in the recessive condition. The recessive condition, that is homozygous recessive condition, is required for the masking of the non-allelic gene. But here in case of dominant epistatis, a single dominant gene is enough to mask the expression of non-allelic gene. But in case of recessive epistatis, the gene should be in the homozygous recessive form. The gene should be in the homozygous recessive form. Only then it can mask the expression of the other, that is the hypostatic gene. Okay. And the ratio is changed to 9:3:4. So the recessive epistatic ratio is 9:3:4. 9:3:4. Okay, so the Mendelian ratio 9:3:3:1 is modified to 9:3:4 in case of recessive epistatis. Okay, so these are about epistatis. Then come to the next extension, that is duplicate gene. Duplicate genes. Duplicate genes. Okay, so duplicate genes means two pair of non-allelic gene. Two pairs, okay, two pairs of non-allelic gene is required for a character. To express a character, it requires two pair of non-allelic gene. Okay, two pair of non-allelic gene is required for a character. If any one of the gene is dominant, then this character is expressed. Okay, so what is duplicate gene? Two pair of non-allelic gene is required for a character if any one of the gene is dominant. In that two pair, any one is dominant, then the character will be expressed. Such type of genes are called duplicate genes. I think you understand the point. Once again, two pair of non-allelic gene is required for a character. If any one of the gene is dominant, then the character will express. Such type of genes are called duplicate genes. Okay, example, fruit shape in Capsella bursa pastoris. Example, fruit shape. Example, fruit shape in Capsella bursa pastoris. Okay, Capsella bursa pastoris, which is also called as shepherd purse. Shepherd purse. Okay, shepherd purse. So, two pairs of non-allelic gene is required for a character. If any one of the gene is dominant, then the character is expressed, and that type of gene is called duplicate gene. Example is fruit shape in Capsella bursa pastoris, that is shepherd purse. Okay. So, two pair of non-allelic genes are present in Capsella. In Capsella, two pairs of non-allelic genes are present. Okay. So, these two pair of non-allelic genes are responsible for the triangular shape of fruit. Responsible for the triangular shape of fruit. Triangular fruit shape. Okay, so triangular fruit shape is controlled by the two pairs of non-allelic gene. If any one, okay, out of them, if any one gene is dominant, then the shape of the fruit is triangular. Okay, so two pair of non-allelic genes are responsible for the expression of triangular shape in the fruit of Capsella bursa pastoris. If any one out of them, if any one gene is dominant, the shape of the fruit is triangular. Okay, and if there is no one gene is dominant, out of the two pair, there is no one gene is dominant, then the fruit will become elongated. Okay, if two pairs of any one dominant, then the fruit become triangular in shape. If there is no one in dominant state, okay, among the two pairs, there is no dominant gene. Among the two, there is no dominant gene, then the fruit shape will be elongated. Okay, so among the two pairs, any one is dominant, then it become triangular fruit shape, and when no one is in dominant state, then it will become elongated fruit shape. Okay, then capital T, capital T, capital D, capital D. This represent the triangular fruit shape. And small t, small t, small d, small d represent the elongated fruit shape. Okay, elongated fruit shape. So this is very simple. Okay, this is very simple. Now we just make a cross using these two genes. So what is to do? First, we want to cross the two pure breeding parents. We will obtain the gametes. Gametes undergo crossing. As a result, we will obtain F1. Okay, the F1 is triangle. Why? Because one dominant gene, other dominant gene. Okay, so two pair, this is one pair, this is second pair. So two pair of genes are responsible for the expression of a character that is triangle shape, and the triangle shape will be expressed when any one of them. So from these two pairs, any one dominant gene is there, they are expressed triangular shape. Okay, so here there is two dominant genes, so obviously it will become triangle shape. Okay, then to obtain the F2, we want to obtain the F2, we want to allow the F1 to selfing. We want to allow the F1 to selfing. We will obtain different gametes. We will obtain different types of gametes. Okay, same here also we will obtain 4 gametes. Okay, so now we want to make cross of these gametes by using the Punnett square method. Okay, now we will draw the Punnett square. Okay, so while drawing the Punnett square, 1, 2, 3, okay. Now we want to mark the gametes, male, female. So capital T, capital D, capital D, capital D, capital T, small d, capital T, small d, small t, capital D, small t, capital D, then small t, small d, small t, small d. Okay, this is very simple. Why? Because almost all these columns, it will have at least one of the dominant gene. That is sure. Why? Because we already discussed the dihybrid cross and the epistatic and everything. So you may know that all these columns may come at least one of the dominant gene. Only this column alone, it will show only the recessive gene. Now we will just look. Okay, just fill the column, just fill the Punnett square, and you will understand the number of triangle shape and the elongated shape. Okay, I hope you have no doubt in filling the Punnett square and doing the selfing and everything. Okay, so we completed the cross. Now just look here, all dominant genes are there, so obviously it will be triangle. Here also triangle. Why? Because dominant genes are there. Here also it will be triangle in shape, triangle. Then here also triangle shape, triangle. This is also triangle fruit shape, triangle shaped fruit. But here, you look here, there is no, at least one dominant gene is there. There is no one dominant gene, so it will be elongated. Okay, so all other have at least one dominant gene. Okay, if you look here at least one dominant gene is there, and if you look here, at least one dominant gene is there. Okay, so at least one dominant gene is present in all the other crosses. So the ratio 9:3:3:1. Okay, the ratio 9:3:3:1 is changed to 15:1. 15:1. Okay, so 15 triangle shaped fruit, 1 elongated shaped fruit. 15 triangle shaped fruit and 1 elongated shaped fruit. Okay, so the Mendelian ratio 9:3:3:1 is modified to 15:1 in case of duplicate genes. Okay, now the next type is complementary gene. Next type is complementary gene. In complementary gene, two pair of non-allelic genes are essential in dominant form to produce a particular character. Okay, we already discussed about the other type of gene, that is the duplicate gene. In duplicate gene, whether there is two pairs of genes are there, from the two pair, any one is dominant. Okay, there is only if there is any one of the pairs of genes are dominant, it will always express the character. But in case of complementary gene, two pairs of non-allelic genes are essential, and that should be in the dominant form. Okay, if both the genes are in the dominant form, then that character will express. Okay, such genes that act together to produce an effect that neither can produce the effect separately. Okay, that two genes cannot produce the effect separately. Once that two genes are in the dominant condition, they can express the character. Such type of genes are called complementary genes. Okay, both type of gene must be present in the dominant form. So complementary gene means both types of gene, that is in a pair of genes, both types should be in dominant form. Then only that particular character will express. Okay, so they cannot produce any effect separately. Okay, then example is flower color in Lathyrus odoratus. Okay, so example, flower color in Lathyrus odoratus. Okay, so in Lathyrus odoratus, we can see the complementary gene interaction. So the genes are capital C, capital C, capital P, capital P. Okay, so capital C, capital C, capital P, capital P. So this will give purple color. This will give purple color to the flower. Okay, capital C, capital C, capital P give purple color. Then capital C, small p will give colorless. Will give colorless. Small c, capital P give colorless. Okay, give colorless. And small p also give colorless. So only the color will come when the two genes of the pair should be in the dominant condition. Okay, so let's look the cross. So a complementary gene, example, flower color in Lathyrus odoratus. So we can cross capital C, we can cross the what? Homozygous okay, we can cross like this, or we can cross one colored and one colorless. That will be better. Okay, we can cross one colored and one colorless. And one colorless. So this is colored, that is purple color, and this is colorless. So we obtain gametes. These gametes undergo fusion. As a result, we will get colorless flower. No, we will obtain colorless flower. Why? Because there is dominant gene is there. So we will get colored flower. Okay. So at least a single dominant gene should be present in both the pair. Okay. So here one dominant is there. Here also one dominant. So it will show colored. Okay. You understand? So complementary gene means the two pairs of non-allelic genes are essential in the dominant form. So this is the dominant form, isn't it? So capital C, small c is the dominant form. Capital P, small p is the dominant form. And this is also dominant form. Here this is only dominant form. This is not dominant. So it should causes the colorless. Okay. Then allow the F12 self. So we obtained F1 as colored and we want to cross the F1, that is allowing them to self. So we obtain, there are two genes, so we obtain 4 different types of gametes. Okay, so we obtain 4 different types of gametes. Here also 4 different types of gametes we will obtain. Okay, see. And now we just plot the Punnett square and just look how the ratios will be. Want to draw the square. Okay, so how it will become? So first we want to write the gametes here. Male gametes, female gametes. It will be capital C, capital P. Here also capital C, capital P. Then capital C, small p, capital C, small p, small c, capital P, small c, capital P, small c, small p, small c, small p. Okay, now let's make the Punnett square complete. So it will be C, C, P, P. Okay, just complete it. So after completing this, we will count the, this is actually small p, we will count the number of colored and number of colorless flowers which is present in the Lathyras odoratus. Okay, capital C, P, small c. You can use different colors so you will be not confused. Here I am using the same color, that's why a bit of confusions may arise while calculating the small c, small p, then small c, capital P, small c, small c, small p, small p. Okay, now let's count. This will be purple. Why? Because dominant genes are there. Here also one capital C and one capital P is there, so it will be purple. This also will be purple. So wherever a single capital C and a single capital P is there, there will express purple color. Okay, so just write purple color wherever there is a single capital C and capital P is there. Okay, so if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we obtain 9 purple, or we obtain 9 colored, plants. Then these are colorless. Okay, so we obtain 7 colorless and 9 colored plants. Okay, we obtain 7 colorless and 9 colored. So the Mendelian ratio 9:3:3:1. Here it's changed to 9:7. 9 purple and 7 colorless. Okay, so this is about complementary gene. Okay, then the last one is supplementary gene or recessive epistatis. Okay, recessive epistatis or supplementary gene. Recessive epistatis. Recessive epistasis, or we can say supplementary gene. Supplementary gene. Recessive epistatis or supplementary gene. Okay, so actually here say 2 non-allelic genes are there. Okay, one gene it will express normally. Okay, one gene it will express their phenotype normally, and another gene have no expression. Okay, so there are 2 non-allelic genes are there, and one gene will express normally and another gene will not express any phenotypic characters. Okay, but if the 2 genes comes in dominant condition, okay, if these 2 genes comes in the dominant condition, it will express a third character. Okay, third expression. You understand? Actually, there are 2 non-allelic genes are there. Among them 2, one will normally they will act. Okay, they will express a character. And another gene will have no expression. Then the third gene, there is no third gene. Actually, the first 2 genes which comes in the dominant state. Okay, suppose you just take this gene as A. Gene A will express normally. Then another gene is B. Gene B have no expression. No expression means even it express, there is no phenotypic difference. Okay, there is no expression. And then when these 2 genes A and B comes in dominant condition, when these two comes in dominant condition, a different phenotype, different from these two phenotype will express. Different from others. Okay. So, it will not express the same expression what A express, or it will not express the expression which is expressed by B. Okay. So, when it comes in the dominant condition, it will express a third phenotype or third expression. Okay, let us discuss one example so it will make you clear. The coat color in mice. The coat color in mice. Coat color in mice. Okay, so mice gene C is responsible for the expression of the character black. Gene C is responsible for the expression of the character black. Okay. Then next one is capital A. Next one is capital A. It is responsible for the color albino. Albino means no expression. Albino means no color. Okay. If there is no color, we will call as albino. There is no color. Okay. So C is responsible for the character, which means C expresses black color. A expresses without any expression, that is albino. Okay. If C and A comes in C and A comes in dominant character, dominant condition, it will express a grayish color. It will express a grayish color called agouti. Agouti. Okay. So what are the conditions? There is two non-allelic genes are there. Gene 1, 2. Okay. So this gene normally it will express. So the expression is black color. Then gene A, it has no expression and it will give no color. That is albino. When the two genes comes in dominant condition, it shows a grayish color, that is called agouti. Okay. Now we can make cross. So, black. This is black and this is albino. This is black color. So, we cross black with albino and as a result we will obtain gametes from the parents and these gametes undergo cross to form offsprings. Here, one dominant gene is present from the both alleles. Okay, in both alleles, one dominant genes are there. So, it will show the color agouti. It will show the color agouti. Okay, it will show agouti. You understand? This is only C. C is in the dominant condition. So, C expresses black. Here C is not there, but A is there. A will express, but there is no color, so it will be albino. Once black and albino cross, we obtain agouti, which means a grayish color. How this agouti color came? Due to the presence of two dominant genes. Okay, due to the presence of two dominant genes. Then, now we allow the F1 to become selfie. Allow them to self. We are allowing them to self. Okay. So we will obtain different gametes. 4 different gametes we will obtain from the parent. Okay. Here also the same. Here also the same. Okay. Now we just draw the Punnett square and just count how many black, albino and agouti mice will produce. Okay. Now just write the gametes. Here it will be capital C, capital A. Here capital C, capital A. Capital C, small a, capital C, small a. Small c, capital A. Small c, capital A. Small c, small a. Small c, small a. Okay. Now just write the possible offsprings, that is capital C, capital C, capital A, C, C, A. Just fill the box. Okay, just fill the box and count how many albino, how many black color, then how many agouti. Okay, now we will count. What are the possible phenotypes? Here both the genes comes in the what? Dominant condition. So it will be causes agouti. Okay, it will causes the color agouti. Here also agouti. Here also agouti. 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 Here only CC. So it will become black. Here agouti. Here also CC, so it will become black color. Here agouti. Agouti. Here AA, so it will be albino. Here also there is no dominant genes in both, so it is only a single A, so it will be albino. Here agouti. This will be black and this will be albino, and that is the both CC and AA is in the form of recessive condition, so it will not form any color, so we will write as albino. Okay, then now count how many agouti and how many black. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We obtain 9 agouti. We obtain 9 agouti. Then 1, 2, 3. 3 black. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 albino. So what is the ratio? 9:3:4 is the ratio of supplementary gene, or we can say ratio of recessive epistatis. Ratio of recessive epistatis. Okay. 9:3:4. So the Mendelian 9:3:3:1 ratio is changed to 9:3:4. Okay. So these are about the interactions of genes. There are many other type of interactions of genes are there. I will just give you the ratio only. Why? Because these are the important things. All are important, but we just try to memorize the ratio alone. Okay. So we look dominant epistatis, recessive epistatis, complementary genes, then supplementary genes. Okay. Then inhibitor genes are there. Inhibitor genes. Inhibitor genes. Okay. Inhibitor genes. Inhibitor genes which is shown in the example, leaf color in rice plant. Leaf color in rice plant. Okay, leaf color in rice plant, and the ratio is 13:3. The ratio is 13:3. Okay. Then we already discussed about the duplicate genes. that is the 15:1 ratio. Duplicate genes 15:1 ratio. And if the duplicate genes having cumulative effect, then it will show 9:6:1. Okay, and need not, you just study this much. Okay, so I will just write that also. Duplicate gene with cumulative effect. With cumulative effect. Okay, so example is fruit. I think, yes, fruit shape in summer squash. Fruit shape in summer squash. Okay, so the ratio is 9:6:1. Normal duplicate gene is it is 15:1. Okay, normal duplicate gene is 15:1. If it has a cumulative effect, then it shows 9:6:1. Okay, so that's all about today. We will meet in the next class.